Well, look, I would say, I think that if you look at what's happened with D.C. Republicans, they worked very closely. Look, Donald Trump, he supported Kevin McCarthy very strongly for Speaker. I don't think he would have won the Speaker vote. Donald Trump was instrumental in him earning that Speaker's gavel, and they worked hand in glove, really, throughout his whole presidency. They were on the same team on every major spending bill that came down the pike, and they ended up together adding $7.8 trillion to our national debt. Never in a 4-year period has that much been added than what they did together. And so he said that we're different. We are different because in Florida, we run budget surpluses. We've paid down almost 25% of our state's debt just since I've been governor. All the debt, all the way up for all of Florida's history, we've knocked off almost 25% of it. So it's a much different approach to where we're doing it right. We have the #1 rated economy in the country. We've cut taxes, we've expanded school choice, and we've delivered in a way that has made the state sustainable.
So that is Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pushing back against Kevin McCarthy, who went out, he said over the weekend, he went at DeSantis and said that we are different. Welcome back to the program. Dana Loesch, bottom of this third hour. They are different. And it felt like McCarthy, and I've called balls and strikes with him. You guys know I'm not in this to make friends. That felt like a weird mode of attack for McCarthy to make. And I wrote about this. I was trying to think. I don't think it was a piece that I sent out Sunday evening. And I mentioned the McCarthy comment. He said that DeSantis was wrong to support those in Congress who wanted a shutdown. And he said that, he was saying that, he's not the, he had said, I served in Congress with DeSantis. I know. I remember when they were in Congress at the same time because Ron DeSantis was one of the founders of the Tea Party House Freedom Caucus. And you would not have gotten Donald Trump without the Tea Party. And DeSantis was one of the founders of the Tea Party House Freedom Caucus at the exact same time that Kevin McCarthy wrote a book with Paul Ryan and Eric Cantor called Young Guns. They called themselves the Young Guns. And the subhead was A New Generation of Conservative Leaders. That is the book that Kevin McCarthy was writing at the exact same time that DeSantis was founding the Tea Party House Freedom Caucus. And the House Freedom Caucus was pretty much opposed to every single big spending Paul Ryan plan that came out. There was a lot of pushback on a lot of those, and it created a lot of tension in the House amongst more constitutionally minded limited government conservatives and more moderate Republicans, like the gentleman on the cover of that book. Now, Kevin McCarthy has been working very hard to rewrite his history on this. But Pepperidge Farm remembers. No, we remember this. I remember this book. In fact, I think Eric Cantor pitched it to my radio program, wanting to come on. And I was like, you know who I am, right? I helped found the Tea Party 2.0, right? Like we kicked it off in St. Louis, like in the very early days of the early months of 2009. Y'all remember this, right? I'm like, you really want to come on and talk about this? I don't know. So I just, that at the exact, they definitely are not the same. McCarthy's right. They are not the same. It's just a weird, that was a bad, I think, choice for McCarthy to make, to pick at that. Now, he is going to have a problem on his hands with what's going on in the House. And I think he needs to focus a little bit less on and being a tool for primary infighting. And I think he needs to focus on making sure that the conservatives in the House, that his Republicans hold the line. Because I don't know if you've seen it, the media is really pushing they're already all in on the headlines that, oh my gosh, here it is. It's these House Republicans that are House GOP in open warfare over doomed spending plan. That's Politico. The Hill, House GOP pulls key vote on stopgap bill amongst conservative opposition. Chaos and acrimony as House Republicans pull bill to keep government running. Quote, multiple games afoot. Politico tries to save it with this piece. which probably came from his team, McCarthy gets tough with the right. They're acting like, oh, he's getting tough. But at the same time, they're making excuses for him. Boxed in by conservatives as shutdown looms, etc. CNN, tensions flare inside House GOP as moderates explore new plan to avoid shutdown. And that is true. The moderates are looking at a continuing resolution. Byron Donalds is one of those who's pushing it, which kind of surprised me a bit. He and Matt Gaetz, who I find to be moderate on some things, have been in opposition over this. Marjorie Taylor Greene opposes the stopgap measure because we're so done. Taxpayers are so done consistently funding billions to Ukraine, billions here, entitlement spending here, not doing anything at the border, not providing any kind of security or relief from border towns or border states, and expecting those taxpayers to foot the bill unconstitutionally, if you want to talk about overriding and commandeering state sovereignty against 10th Amendment, to make them carry out federal decrees and programs. It seems it's completely understandable that there are a lot of constitutionalists that don't want to continue funding that. And that's what, going along to get along is what the CR is. And so there are a considerable number of conservatives that oppose it, and rightly so. And this shouldn't be any different. You wanted the House speakership job, you got the House speakership job. Now you got to make the House speakership job work. And the media definitely wants to make it seem like it is absolute chaos. And it might be. It might be. It's not as chaotic as what Democrats have created at the border, but it might be. Oh, open warfare, and it has everybody facing off. Everybody. I mean, they talk about the centrists against the conservatives and the more moderate Republicans. And, oh my gosh, all these Republicans in the Conservative Freedom Caucus, they're torching the plan. And this is going to be problematic for him. It's going to be even more problematic because the Senate will blame any kind of refusal to pass it or to even move it to debate. They'll blame it all on McCarthy. The problem is going to be, it's the poison pill that the press puts on order of Democrats into the narrative with this. If Democrats did not politicize it with the entitlement spending, so much of this would not be an issue. It wouldn't be. Now, if McCarthy has to rely on Democrats to get any of this passed to avoid a shutdown, there are a lot of conservatives saying that they will oust him. And I want to caution them. If you're going to oust him, you're going to go with the king, you best not miss. If you're going to go and oust the speaker, you better damn well have a replacement ready to go. I am so tired of this. Even from House members that I like, even from, lawmakers who, that I support. There's always a lot of big talk from them, but there's never any kind of follow-up. Like, if you're going to say that he needs to be replaced, then you better have agreement from someone to replace him. Somebody who can get the votes. Somebody who's going to be able to do it. Chip Roy said he doesn't want it. I don't think Thomas Massie wants it. And to be frank, I don't think that some of these more centrist Republicans would vote for either of them. They wouldn't vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're going to have to vote for somebody who I think has the seniority, meaning has the established relationships of working with these people, but probably isn't too far to the left and too far to the right. Probably someone who's moderate. But I don't know if they have anybody. You can't throw stuff like that out because, see, the people are tired of hearing it. We're just tired of hearing that as a threat all the time, over and over again. So I don't know. I mean, they're saying, oh, it's a revolt. They have no plan to keep the government open without risking, the House speakership, etc. McCarthy's trying to resuscitate this plan that Byron Donalds is getting a lot of flack for. And I think Byron Donalds has he's got his own reasons for doing this. Oh, don't talk too much about it because his press person may lose his mind. But I think he's got his own reasons. There's a lot of intrigue, a lot of palace intrigue happening here.